Hi, everybody. How are you? Okay. All right. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you are. Can you let me know where y'all are, please? There's a few people already logged in. I see Perry's here. Hi, Perry. I know you're in Georgetown, which is next to my home, but I'm in California today. Let's see, we've got a few more people joining. I'm hoping this is, it's like every time I go live, I'm hoping it's going to work. Fingers crossed. Yeah, but as you're joining, please let me know where you're watching from. Let me know too. I don't know. I've been, I don't know if y'all know this, but I do read, of course, all the comments that are, that y'all post on under my videos. And I tend to do them in a batch. So once or twice per week, I sit down and I read all the comments. And yesterday was that day. And so many interesting and fascinating comments that I'm reading under the videos, like, you know, the experience that y'all are having with your practice and the benefits that you're getting from the practice. And it's so motivating to me. I get really motivated by the stories that I'm reading. Motivated to keep making content, and then motivated to make specific kind of content that will help you. And sometimes that means that people, are directly asking for content that they think they need, and sometimes I just get an inspiration to create content that I know that people need based on what they're telling me about their practice and their goals and things like that. So please keep the comments coming. Like I said, it's hugely motivating for me. Let's see, Lisa's here. Hi, Lisa. Okay, good. So there's a few people watching, but only a few people commenting. And it could possibly be that my download speed is slow, and there may be comments coming that I'm not seeing right away. So I will get to them when they pop up. All right. Well, hello, everybody. I need to grab my phone. There were many comments posted the other day when I posted a question about what you'd like to see in this month's videos. And so hopefully you're enjoying all of those videos that I'm, my kids are watching, all those videos that I'm putting together, the daily videos that are coming out here on YouTube, but they're also on Instagram and they're also on our Facebook page. All those small tips and tricks about yoga for bigger bodies. And so I've created all of those already. Amy is here and Suzanne is here. Hello, everybody. And Sachin is here. I created all of those videos for the whole month already, and so they're starting to pop up. But one question that I read in the comments yesterday is someone was asking me about something that I actually haven't created yet. So I'd like to talk about that today, and any additional questions that y'all have related to, how to practice yoga if you have a bigger body. Hi, Amanda, welcome. So let me find all of those questions that popped up the other day, and we can talk about them. Where is it? Where is it? And if y'all have any questions here live, please also post them. Okay, here it is. Here it is. So yes, I started to mention just briefly that I'm in California this week. Oh, hi, Maru. Nice to hear from you again. I'm in California this week and next week. We are in a town that I didn't realize existed. It's next to Palm Springs, and it's called Desert Hot Springs. This is where we are. It is desert-like. It's very, very dry. And some days it's extremely windy. I'm in my camper right now, and it's so windy here. Like, there's been about 3 days that the wind is so strong that it's shaking my camper. And my camper weighs, I don't know, probably like 18,000 pounds or something. It's big and it's heavy, and it's surprising that the wind can shake something so heavy. Okay, let's see. I have a question about how to, let's see, chronic back pain due to obesity, how to exercise through it, alleviate it, and most importantly, how to not let it derail your healthy lifestyle journey. Okay, great question. So when we have back pain due to obesity, When we have back pain, whether we have a big body or not a big body, there can be lots of underlying causes of the back pain. So it's very important to practice in a gentle way. I talk a lot about the concept of ahimsa and practicing in a way that's comfortable for your body. Very, very important, especially if you're in pain anyway. If you are having a whole lot of pain, I would recommend starting with a very gentle practice. Definitely within the realm of what's comfortable for you. So if, for example, getting down onto the floor isn't comfortable, then just do standing yoga practice. Do yoga practice sitting on a chair. Do what I call the orientation of the posture. So like the standing or the sitting or the lying. Do only those orientations that work well for you. Another thing, it's such an involved question. I could talk about this one question for an hour. Let me not try to rush and let me explain in a little bit of detail here, because I know a lot of people have back pain. From a yoga therapy perspective, that's what I'm trained in and training in yoga therapy, which is training beyond yoga teacher training. And so from a yoga therapy perspective, what we try to do when a person has pain is we first try to alleviate the pain, and then we work on preventing future pain. And when we have back pain, depending on the cause of the back pain, if it's back pain due to a muscular issue, that's one thing. If it's back pain due to like your actual bones in your spine or the discs in your spine, that's a different kind of issue with a different approach. But assuming we're talking about a muscular issue, we have, muscles that are angry because they're overused or they're being used in the wrong way or something like this. The first thing that we need to do is help the muscles to calm down and relax. So relaxation practices can be very beneficial. Breathing practices can be very beneficial. Next, we want to work on some gentle stretching, very gentle stretching, again, to help the muscles calm down. Then when the pain that you're experiencing starts to subside, then we can start to work on strengthening. And through the strengthening, we help to further reduce pain. And then, more strengthening is helping to prevent future pain. So it's a long process. And if you're someone who has a whole lot of pain, it may be fine. And now I'm kind of getting into what kind of yoga practice should you be doing. It may be fine for you to do, regular practices, like what I put, on my YouTube channel or going to a yoga class. If you have, if you're interested, if you're someone who's having a lot of pain, one-on-one yoga therapy sessions can be a really good idea. You don't have to do it for a long time. Yes, yoga therapy is more expensive, obviously than YouTube because YouTube's free. It's more expensive than going to a yoga class. But if you're someone who's having any type of serious issue, it could be back pain or it could be anything else, you want to resolve that issue as quickly as you can in most cases. And so one-on-one instruction is the way to do that in my mind, because then you get like the teacher, if it's the right teacher, can understand what's going on with your body and then start to work on a practice or a program, like a series of practices to help you get out of that pain, whatever pain it is that you're experiencing in your life. So I do that. I have taken my yoga therapy page down for right now because I'm very busy with my YouTube channel and my Patreon community and the classes that I'm teaching. And I don't have a lot of time for new private clients right now, but I do have a little bit of time. So if that's of interest to anyone, email me. You can always reach me at info@rryogaroom.com. And I would be happy, just to initially set up a quick consultation with you to, kind of give you an idea of what that might look like for you. And then if it feels like it would be a good fit, then we can actually schedule your first session. So that's about back pain and how to approach. I think part of that question was also about how to not let it derail, the rest of the healthy things that you're trying to do in life. And it's a great question because when we're in pain, any kind of pain, could be physical pain or emotional pain or any kind of pain, it's hard to maintain everything else that you're doing. The positive things that you're trying to do. It can be really difficult. I would propose breathing practices are very beneficial. They don't take too much time. Another long discussion that I can get into is about seeing clearly, and when we're in pain, or when we're too tired, or when we're too stressed, or in lots of situations we don't see clearly, and when we're not seeing clearly, we tend to make incorrect choices and be unproductive and cause ourselves extra work and extra challenges. So breathing practices to help you be as calm as you can be so that you can perceive clearly and try to move forward doing the healthy things that you're doing. All right, good. Let me see. A couple of more people have commented. Hi, Lindsay. Nice to see you or have you here. I can actually see you. Finally got the time zone right. Yeah, good. Me too, because I'm in a different time zone today, and I was worried that I had set this up at the wrong time. Hi, Celinda and everyone. So happy to be able to make it my first live stream. Lauren, hello. Hello. Welcome. Oh, and Giancarlo is here. Yay. Welcome. Good. I'm glad we've finally gotten to connect. Okay. Very good. Okay. So everyone, thank you for being here. I just answered one question in a very long way, which I'm happy to do. I'm happy to be able to do that. And I hope that it's comfortable for y'all if I'm kind of going off on a subject for a little while and not giving just a short answer. I think that I was thinking about this morning because I was trying to make a video. I was trying to make a video this morning and it turned out to be a bust. I'll tell you about it another time. But anyway, I was trying to make a video about back pain this morning, and I was thinking about how, so many people present a quick fix for back pain. Oh, do you have back pain? Do this, do this, do this. And it's not a quick answer. Back pain, lots of topics in yoga are deep, involved answers. And I think, I do it a service if I try to answer in a short way. So once in a while, I'll go off on a long answer, and I appreciate if you bear with me. And I hope the information that I provide is helpful. But yeah, I guess it stems from my training. My experience with yoga is, I don't know, it's just that way. It's just that way. I like to go deep and understand the why and connect the dots and make sure that it makes sense and not just take an answer because it's the answer that's given. So, okay, good. Pamela's here. Thank you for making yoga for people like me with thickness. Your yoga has helped me so much. Awesome. Nice to have you here, Pamela. Welcome. Very good. Okay, let me now open up my phone and find the next question about practicing yoga with a bigger body. And please, if y'all have questions, post them here so I can see them and I'll be happy to answer them. I have difficulty bringing my knees up when laying on my back. Arms are just barely reaching the knee, so it's hard to bring them toward my chest. Yeah, good. So I do answer this question in one of the videos that I'm doing, throughout this month. The short version of this answer, you can watch the long version of the answer in the video later this month, but the short version is that when we have a bigger body and we're trying to lie on our back and bring the knees up toward the chest, the legs and the belly tend to run into each other. So a few ways that you can, two good ways that you can do this. One is take your knees wider. Let the knees go out toward the sides a bit. See if that helps. And another option is to do just one leg at a time. So with many things in yoga, if we're trying to do just one leg at a time, it tends to be easier than if we're trying to do both legs at the same time. So there are two options. And actually, here's a third option. We always, always, always have the choice to not do what the teacher's asking. We can either just not do anything and we can take a break, or we can change it to something else entirely. So maybe your teacher, or if it's me, is asking you to do Apanasana, that's bringing the knees up toward the chest. Maybe you don't like that. That is perfectly fine. You can change it to something else. Maybe instead you could keep your feet on the floor and move your knees side to side. And that has a similar effect of relaxing the back. All right, good. Let me go to the next question. Let's see. Yeah, so one person here is asking about modifications when their belly or boobs get in the way. And I covered those right at the beginning of the month because I know those were going to be very common questions. So if you haven't already, you can, we're on YouTube right now, so you can go to the playlist. I'll post it after the video. I'll attach it to this live stream. not the video, the link to the playlist where I'm putting all of the videos, these short videos that I'm doing. And I have one about boobs and I have one about bellies. And you can watch those and you can know all about how to modify when you have big boobs or a big belly. All right, good. Meditation, yes. Let me think about this for a second. Different type of breathing exercises. Yeah. So this month in my Patreon community, our focus is on breathing. If you're interested in diving into deeper topics like this, you might consider joining my Patreon community. I think the link for that is already in the description box below this video. I'm not sure if you can see it right now during the live stream, but you can see it after. Breathing and meditation, I don't know. I need to think about if this is content that I can feel like I can responsibly put up on YouTube. The breathing, not so much. This is why I'm doing it in the Patreon community, because breathing practice needs to be monitored by your teacher. It would not, from my perspective, from my training and my experience, I wouldn't want to put out breathing practices not knowing the health of the people who are doing the practices or the mental state of the people who are doing the practice, because not all breathing practices are okay for all people. So you may not see a whole lot of breathing stuff on my channel. Meditation. For me, breathing practice is meditation. Okay, I'm going to get into another kind of controversial thing here for just a minute. Meditation practices. In the West, we have lots of different perceptions of what meditation is. There are like meditation apps and all different kind of things. To me, traditionally, meditation is a practice that helps you learn how to focus, learn how to concentrate on something. Initially, we learn how to focus and concentrate on one thing. Like, this is my lip balm. I'm concentrating on this image. Okay, I've seen it. Okay, I've concentrated. That's the beginning of meditation. We learn to have like focus for 1 second or focus for a short period of time. And then with practice, over weeks, months, years, we learn to be able to concentrate on the thing, whatever it is. It could be your breathing. It could be a plant that's sitting in front of you. It could be the flame of a candle. We learn to maintain our focus on that thing without letting our mind wander off for an extended period of time. So, I don't know, maybe I can make a video that explains about what meditation is, and then we each have to, either go off and find our own thing to meditate on, or again, work with your teacher one-on-one to help establish what is the correct meditation practice for you. So I guess long story short, you may not see a whole lot of breathing or meditation on my channel because it needs to be very customized, and I wouldn't feel comfortable putting too much of that out in a way where anyone can access it, and I don't know if it's right for them or not. I don't know if it's correct for them. Okay, let's see. There's a couple of comments that have come in. Yoga has a lot of arm movement, which is fine. My arm is sore. Are there yoga postures that require limited arm movement? Okay. This is tea. That looks kind of weird. It's kind of whitish, but that's my tea. Okay, let's see. With arm movement. Okay, and then Lindsay, I think, is answering Lisa. Let me read this one too. Lisa, when I started last year, I had post-op shoulder and had to adapt everything with arm movements. I just did one arm if the other one was painful. And now that you've recovered, you can do much more. Okay, yeah. If you have one sore arm, you may choose to give it a break. Practice ahimsa for your arm. Practice in a way that lets your arm feel comfortable. You could skip moving the one arm. You could also reduce your range of motion and use both arms. If we're going to, for example, bring the arms out toward the sides and up, and maybe I'm even doing to bring the palms together overhead, maybe in your mind, you remember, I'm going to just bring my arms to this position and that's enough. I'm curious to know, Lisa, because I know you're practicing I'm curious to know a little bit more about your arm pain, if it's due to your yoga practice, if it's something else, if it was a pre-existing injury or what's going on there. If you want to, you can post it here. Otherwise, message me and I can follow up with you. But yeah, I do get this question fairly regularly. Yeah, so like sometimes people have frozen shoulder, and it's usually due to some kind of injury, and it takes a very, very long time to recover. Again, with frozen shoulder, we just go to the range that the arm can go. And slowly over time, and it may take a year or more, it can recover and start to regain its range of motion. Okay, good. Maru says, is flexibility a topic with bigger bodies? Some people can flex more even though they are big. That's correct. Yeah. Regardless of the size of a person's body, they can be flexible or not flexible. They can be strong or not strong. And, we also can be overly flexible. And so that's something also that we need to keep in mind. If we are someone who's extremely flexible and we're having pain in our body, it may be necessary to work on your strength more so that you can stabilize your body more and not be so flexible. Sometimes overly flexible can hurt. Okay, good. It's not the yoga. Recently had an injection. Okay. Yeah. So yeah, if your arm is hurting due to a recent injection, and many of us are going through that right now with the COVID vaccine, give it a rest, give it a break for a few days. Maybe do a little bit of nyasa movement with the fingers, so that you're kind of getting some subtle movement up through your arm, but not actually like actively causing pain to the arm. That might help it recover sooner. Okay, good. Let me see if I've got more questions over here. Yes. Someone named Dee asked me, I think her name is Dee, a great question that I read yesterday, and she was asking about, I may have answered this question in 2 different places, or 2 different people may have asked me the same question. Postures like basically forward folding postures. And you know what? Actually, in that category, I also got a question about child's pose. And I don't teach a whole lot of child's pose because it requires kneeling, and so many people have trouble, either kneeling or bending their knees to that angle. I mean, angle, not ankle. Anyway, I don't teach a whole lot of child's pose, but let me talk about that in case that is part of your practice. And let me also talk about forward folding. And I do talk about many forward folding postures as we progress through the month in those short videos. So also keep an eye out for that. But basically, any kind of posture where you need to fold forward. It could be a standing posture. It could be a sitting posture, like sitting on the floor with your legs extended in front of you. Usually, again, when we have a bigger body, I talked about this a little bit earlier when we talked about Apanasana, bringing the knees up toward the chest when you're lying down. Any kind of posture, whether it be standing, sitting, lying, anything, when the legs are moving toward the chest or vice versa, they run into each other and they limit our, potential range of motion. So what we can do is take the legs wider. That could apply for standing forward fold with wide legs. It could apply to, what else? Standing forward fold, seated forward fold, where your legs are extended forward. Here's my pretend feet. And you're folding forward over your legs and your belly runs into your legs. Just take your feet out wider. And then child's pose, it's the same thing. So this one does require kneeling. So if you have painful knees, you may choose not to do this posture, but you can put your knees wide, put your big toes close to each other or touching, and then you can reach your hips back and fold forward. Typically in child's pose, the hands and maybe the forehead come down onto the floor. But if we have a bigger body, that might not be comfortable. So what you should do is elevate the upper part of your body somehow. That might mean different things. So it could be, here's some options, some things that I like to do. You could take a bolster, one of these kind of long, dense pillows. They're about yay high usually. Place it in front of you, kind of between where your knees are, lengthwise. And you can lay forward on it. It'll support you at your chest and support you at your head. You can turn your head to one side, and that can be your child's pose. It'll be a supported child's pose. Another option that you can do is you can put a support under your forehead, like maybe a yoga block or even your bolster. Some people like to do that. That one is a good one for people who also have a bigger chest, because your forehead is supported, and then you don't have to squish your boobs, going into child's pose. And then if you don't have any props, another thing that I do sometimes is you can stack your two fists and rest your forehead on top, when you're in child's pose. And that too gives you a little bit of lift, is not smashing your boobs, and, hopefully, theoretically, will make the posture more comfortable and more accessible. Okay, good. Oh, Margaret's here. Hi, Margaret. The visual practice helped me when I couldn't move my right arm. Oh, that's such a great tip. So Margaret has been practicing for a long time. I would say she is advanced in her yoga practice. By the way, when I talk about advanced practice, I'm talking about people who have very good self-awareness, people who've been practicing a long time. They have good body awareness, good mental focus. This is my version of advanced. Some people use the word advanced to mean physically challenging postures. I think that a person could do physically challenging postures and also be a beginner at yoga. So just to be clear, that's how I use the word advanced. So I consider Margaret to be an advanced practitioner. And she recently had an injury, I want to say to her shoulder. It was like an upper extremity and lower extremity, maybe like ankle and shoulder. It was something like that. And so she was very limited in what she could do. And in fact, she couldn't do yoga practice for some time. And I suggested to her that she might just visualize doing the yoga practice, like watch the video, listen to the video, and visualize that she's doing the movements. And she told me that her physical therapist gave her the same advice. And so I thought that was really cool. But that's a very nice way to practice for, if you're injured and you're not able to do your usual practice, or if whatever the teacher's teaching doesn't quite work for your body, you could just do it in a visualization kind of way. And that might, that might be interesting. We do get benefits from just visualizing. You won't get muscle toning, probably, maybe a little bit. You won't improve your flexibility by visualizing a posture. But what you do get, the benefit you do gain, is that kind of meditative quality that I was talking about earlier, where we're learning to concentrate and focus. I'm just really on a roll today. I'm really on a roll. But anyway, where I was going was that when we can be very mindful, like as in with a visualization practice, we start to gain more of these subtle benefits of the practice that have an effect on the nervous system, help us to be calm, that leads to seeing clearly, that leads to all kinds of stuff. So visualization, I would consider to be an advanced practice. But, if you've been practicing a while and if your concentration is pretty good, you can try it out and see what you think. Also good to do on a day that you're tired. You could lie down and just visualize the practice. All right, good. Cool. I tried one of your longer practices on YouTube and truly enjoyed it. 50 minutes didn't seem like 50 minutes. Very good. That might have been the Zoom recording that I posted on YouTube as a private video for my patrons. I don't know, that was kind of complicated, but maybe, was it that, Lisa, or was it a different public YouTube video that you did? Yeah, and Lisa, has been practicing for quite a while, so, you're comfortable with longer practices, where someone who's newer might not be as comfortable. Okay, Giancarlo says, I'm having difficulty doing sitting movements because my lower body is super tight. Okay, I can sit comfortably, but extending my legs while sitting is very difficult. Yes. Do I have any recommendations? Yes. Okay. Let me just make sure that I'm understanding very well what you're asking so I can answer in the right way. Difficulty with sitting movements because your lower body is super tight. I'm wondering if the tightness in your body is also affecting you in your normal life. Are there daily activities that are affected by this tightness? I can sit comfortably, but extending my legs while sitting. Okay, so what you can do, what I would suggest, there's a few things you can do. One is, when you're doing your sitting postures, you could put a prop behind your knees so that the knees can maintain a little bit of bend. That tends to be a little more comfortable for people who have a lot of tightness. So you'll get some stretching, but not too much stretching if you do that. That's one thing to do. Another thing to do that I think is, I like this idea better, is that you can do your sitting postures on a chair. Hear me out. So on a chair, but you can actually use two chairs. So if you're trying to do, for example, the posture, it's called Janu Shirshasana, where you're sitting usually on the floor and you extend one leg forward, and typically we bend the other leg, and it's like, you know, the sole of the foot to the inner part of the extended leg. This one can be really challenging to do if you're sitting on the floor, but you can also do it sitting on a chair. I don't have two chairs right here with me, or I'd show you, but I'll tell you, and you can visualize it. So you sit on the one chair, you extend one leg, and you put your foot up onto the second chair, and let your other leg, the one that's not extended, just let it remain bent with your foot on the floor, and you can work on forward folding that way. So when we're elevated like that, and we're only stretching toward one leg at a time, the hips are a little bit more relaxed, and we're able to work on that more because it's not as challenging. I'm not even explaining this super well, but I think this is maybe something that you have to try and experience so that you can really understand, you know, what it is. But, you know, just as an example, I was talking about this a little bit earlier. When we try to do a forward fold with both legs extended, it's harder than if we try to do a forward fold with one leg extended. And if we are trying to sit on the floor and do a forward fold, again, it's more challenging than if we're doing the forward fold sitting on the chair. So I don't know, I still feel like I'm not explaining this super well, but please go try it. Use two chairs, sit on one, extend your one leg up onto the other one, and you can work on forward folding either straight toward the extended leg or a little bit on an angle, like toward the side a bit. And you can work on stretching out one leg at a time in that way. And for people who have really tight legs and when they want to work on improving their flexibility, I think it's a very important idea to work on your strengthening first. So maybe stand and do some like balancing on one foot, some warrior, some triangle, some things that help to like challenge your legs a little bit in the strengthening sense. That way your muscles can be warm, they get warmed up, and then they're more receptive when you go to do the stretching part. If you try to do the stretching cold, it's going to be much more uncomfortable than if you like warmed your muscles up first. Hopefully that's helpful. That's my favorite posture too, stretching one leg at a time, you know, when people have tight legs. So that would be my top recommendation for you. Giancarlo, please try that and let me know how it goes. Okay, okay, good. You've got it. Great. Yeah, try it this evening. Warm up first and then try that. And do it every day. You know, we didn't get tight in one day and we're not going to get flexible in one day. So be patient and just try it, you know, over a week or 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and you'll start to notice some improvement. But please do also keep me posted. Okay, Lisa says, it was a public YouTube video. Okay, good. But the one in the Patreon community. Okay, very good. Excellent. Lindsay says, do I get the same benefit from a figure 4 on the floor as on a chair? Oh, I'm loving these questions. Okay, on a chair, I find my hips, thighs, and belly all squished together in a way that doesn't happen on the floor. There are many ways to practice figure 4, and in fact, this is another video that I made, so please do keep an eye out for it because I give lots of options for how to practice it. You know what? I didn't include the chair. I would say try them all. Some people have much more success with a chair than lying on the floor. Some people have much more success on the floor than on the chair. And in the video that you'll find later this month, I do another version that's lying on the floor with your foot on the wall, or you could probably even put your foot on a chair if you wanted to. And I think that also is a really interesting variation that gives a completely different kind of sensation in the body. But yes, do you get the same benefit? It depends. It depends. Generally, in figure 4, we're working on stretching out in the hip and maybe the thigh. You may even feel a little bit of work happening up toward your waist. Yeah, and everybody's body is different. So try all of them. See which one feels most beneficial to you. See, the other thing is that people have varying degrees of tightness in different areas of the body. So you may do figure 4. Let me see. Yeah, so you may do it on the floor and get more benefit from that. And I may do it sitting on the chair and get more benefit from that. It's not that one posture is like universally better for all the people. It depends on each person's unique body. So try them all out, and then you can do your favorite one. Okay. Basima, okay, says, hi, do you have any tips for modifying poses that have me sitting on my heels? Like child's pose, even with a pillow or blanket or something, my butt and my heels just don't even come close. Yes, okay, gosh, these questions are great. Very good questions. And they require a little bit of long answers for me to answer them well. So when we move into child's pose and there's a big gap between the feet and your bottom, like your bottom can't come down. For some people that might be comfortable and fine. For some people that might not be comfortable because the calf muscle and the back of the thigh are like squishing too much, like they're pressing each other too much in a way that's not comfortable. Or you just feel like you're not able to get the maximum benefit from the posture because your bottom can't come down. So we can look at this in many different ways. One is, let me think. One is you can, okay, yeah, let me give you two options here. You could put some support for your bottom so that it's resting on something. And the way that you can do this is you can put a yoga block or two or a pillow or something between your feet so that when you reach your bottom back, it's going to land on that prop, that whatever you've put there. And that way, you know, it's supported, it's resting. That's one thing that you can do. Another thing is not to do the child's pose at all. Do something else. So let me think about how to say this in the right way. In many yoga practices, like on videos or classes or whatever, teachers teach a practice that is well suited for skinny bodies, and they don't realize that not all the bodies can do it, and so they keep teaching that thing, not realizing that they're leaving people out. My teaching focus is very, very different. It's 100% focused on teaching a practice in a way that's suitable for the maximum number of people. So because of that, there are many poses that I don't teach at all. Child's pose is one of those that I almost never teach unless I know that all of the people who are in my class or, whatever, not really on YouTube because I don't know who's practicing, with my YouTube videos. But if I'm in person with people and I know 100% certain that all of the people can practice child's pose, I might include it in the practice. But it's one of those poses that doesn't work for very, very many people. So my philosophy is, if I had the intention that I wanted to teach child's pose, but I realize it doesn't work for some of the people in my class, what I do is I think, what is the purpose of this posture? What benefit do I want my students to gain by asking them to practice this? When we practice child's pose, we're working on a lot of things. We might be working on stretching out in the ankles. We might be working on stretching out like more mobility in the knees. We may be working on hip mobility. We might be working on stretching out in the low back or in the upper back or the arms. So my approach is, what else could I do that achieves those same benefits? And so in that way, there are many poses that I elect not to teach at all because I can achieve the same benefit from that posture by doing something entirely different. I'd love to know what y'all think about that. It's quite different. Like, that's not a common, it's not a common thinking at all. But especially for some of you who've been practicing for a long time, I think that you can take that information and you can figure it out. Like you can know, if I'm practicing child's pose for the purpose of stretching out my back, maybe I could do downward facing dog instead. Maybe I could do downward facing dog in a chair. Maybe I could lie on the floor and bring my knees up toward my chest. And that way I'm stretching out my back, but not putting any strain on my knees or ankles. You can start to think in that way. What is the benefit that I'm trying to gain? Am I trying to stretch my ankles? Okay, what other way can I do that? So I don't know if that's, I'm curious to know, is that something that you feel you can do for yourself? Or maybe I'm like having too high of expectations. Maybe it's not practical, but from a yoga teacher perspective, yoga teachers should be able to think in this way, if they want to, and find substitute poses that can accommodate bodies, that are not able to do the original intended posture. Okay, your Lindsay says, your answer reminds me to say how much I appreciate the way you talk about bigger bodies. You always use the language of kindness and respect, and many of us don't experience much of that elsewhere. Thanks, Lindsay. Yeah, I know. Yeah, I think we need, that kind of touched me at my heart. We need more of that kindness, not just for bigger bodies, but for all kinds of people, for all kinds of reasons. We need that. We need that more. Thank you for saying that. Okay, Noreen says, how about supporting the head? Noreen, can you please elaborate in what posture are you talking about? Okay. Basima says, that's an awesome insight. Okay, cool. It just seems that like a pose I have to figure out because it's everywhere. It's true. And it's nice being reassured that I can avoid it. Yeah, good. Yeah. And I have a hard time answering questions like this when people ask me, how do I modify downward facing dog to standing forward fold? How do I modify downward facing dog to lunge? How do I make child's pose work for my body? And, I don't know the person's intention. I don't know their practice. It's a comment under a video, or it's a comment on social media somewhere. And, all I know is the words that are written there on the page. And so I don't know if they're very attached to that particular posture and they really want to be able to do it, or, are they open to kind of a unpopular, uncommon idea of, maybe just don't do it at all. Maybe it's not right for you, and that's okay. But yeah, so that's sometimes kind of an awkward conversation, but I'm glad that, that I found the right words, and that you all were open-minded today to understand what I was trying to convey, so that we can practice in the way that suits us. I just never want for the yoga practice to make us feel bad about ourselves. It's kind of like, I read this once many, many years ago. It's funny, it's coming back to me right now, but oh yeah, it's a lady who I follow on Facebook. What is her name? I can't remember her name at the moment, but she wrote this long kind of like, she's an author. She writes a lot of really good stuff, but she wrote something one time about how her trousers, her pants don't get to have an opinion about her weight. And I don't know, it was something like that. But I really think that, like, if you are trying to get dressed one day and you try to put on your favorite pair of trousers or pants and they're too tight, it doesn't mean there's something wrong with you. There's something wrong with those trousers. So, I think about the yoga practice in the same way. It's not that you're wrong for the yoga practice. It's that it's not the right yoga practice for you. And so you just need a different yoga practice that, that works with your body and helps you achieve the benefits that you're seeking to gain. That's my thinking. All right. In child's pose, how to support the head. Okay, yes. So you can support your head on a block, on a folded blanket, something like this. So, if you are able to sit back, your knees, ankles, hips are comfortable, your hips are back towards your heels, and your head is forward, but it's kind of like hanging in the air, just put some kind of support under it. You can use 1 or 2 blocks, a folded blanket, a bolster. You could even stack your fists and rest your forehead on top. Any of these are good options for how to rest your head. Okay, Amy says, the only live yoga class I ever went to was about 2 years ago. The yoga instructor told me to come up front next to her because I was the biggest body there and she wanted to monitor my movements. Oh my goodness. Okay. I was absolutely mortified and left the class. Yeah. Yeah, I hear all kind of terrible stories about, the experiences that people have in yoga classes. Yeah, it's not good. Yeah, so I feel, really happy, blessed, excited that YouTube exists and that I'm able to have a channel and share what I share because I think that it's kind of rare. I think that, people don't get this kind of reassurance and affirmation that they can practice yoga and, creative instruction and the philosophy to teach in a way that can work for all kinds of bodies. So I'm grateful for all of you being here, and I'm grateful for you, when you like my videos, because then YouTube shares it with more people, and when you subscribe and, all of that, and share what I'm doing with other people, because, and I'll knock on wood as I say this, but I almost never get negative comments under my videos. It's all people who are happy about this content that I'm putting out there. And I feel super grateful for that, and super, I don't know, just blessed that I've had whatever life experiences that I've had to, inspire me or make me think in a certain way to create this kind of content that can help people, because that's why I'm here. That's why I do what I do. I just want to help people practice yoga and be healthy and feel better in their body and in their mind. So I'm grateful for all of you. Thank you. Just a suggestion to make more space for belly, etc. Yes. Yeah, Noreen. So I think you're still talking about the child's pose. Yeah, and we can I think I talked about this a little bit earlier. And throughout the month of this month, April, I'm putting together, all these short videos about how to practice yoga when you have a bigger body. And yeah, so please stay tuned here on YouTube and or on either Facebook or Instagram, where we're also posting those videos. But generally, when the legs are running into the belly, in child's pose or any posture, if we take the feet wider or take the knees wider, it creates more space so that both the legs and the belly are happy and comfortable, and there's no conflict. So please try taking your feet wider with any kind of forward fold type posture, and hopefully that will work well for you. Okay. Very good. Very good. Thanks, Lindsay, and thanks, Amy. This is great. I think we need more conversation about this. We need more conversation about this. So maybe we can kind of continue in this theme in next week's. Oh wait, I'm not sure if I'm gonna be able to do a live stream next week. I'm flying home with my son. I mentioned, but we're in California right now, and my son needs to go back home next weekend to take a math test. It's an important math test. He's trying to test out of all of next year's math and actually skip a grade. So we're taking the special effort to fly home so he can take his test, and then we'll fly back over here to meet the rest of my family on Saturday. But I don't know what time my flight is on Friday. So if it's later in the day, then I will have a live stream. But if it's early in the day, I may not be able to do the live stream. So anyway, next time I do a live stream, we'll have more discussion along these lines about making yoga work well for people with bigger bodies. And we'll talk, I think it's really important, we should talk about people's experience with, yoga practice until now. Like before you found my channel and you went to a yoga studio or you tried a YouTube video or whatever, the kind of experiences that you have, because sometimes it can be kind of harmful, kind of hurts your confidence, hurts your motivation, hurts you in all kinds of different ways. So I think it could be beneficial to talk about that, because nobody's talking about it. And if we talk about it, we normalize it, we raise awareness, and that can be helpful to people. So let's plan to talk about that next time. All right, Lisa says, I go to Weight Watchers. My Weight Watchers buddies are doing the bigger body. Yay! That's awesome. Thank you, Lisa, for sharing my videos with your people. I love Weight Watchers. I did that program years ago, and I learned so much about nutrition. Yeah, many teachers will just let you struggle. Yes. And, and it's not because they're bad teachers or mean people or anything like that. It's just that they don't know. They don't know how to help. Yeah. Yeah. All right. Very good. Cool. I think that's all for today. I think that's all. That's a lot. I took up much more time, much more of your day than I intended to. I thought that I'd be on here talking with y'all for about 30 minutes, and now we're going on 50. So I appreciate you hanging out with me and having these conversations. And, I'm really, really receptive to your experiences and your requests. So please leave me a comment somewhere or email me. You can always email me. If I talked about this a little bit earlier, but if you're someone who is having a serious health issue or multiple health issues and you're trying to figure out how to get started with your yoga practice, please message me. Thank you, Lisa. Thank you for doing that super chat. I'll see you later. Have a nice afternoon at work. If you're having, message me and we can, talk about individual instruction. If that will help you get started and kind of get on your path, I'd be happy to work with you. Let's see, I really like your explanation and modifications for child's pose from previous yoga classes. I realize that I'm attempting poses that don't work for me. Yeah, good, okay. Lindsay, thank you. Yes, you're welcome. It's my pleasure. I love doing this. I love doing this. It's, I think it's really rare to love your work, but I love doing this and love helping. So thank you everybody for being here. If you have any questions about yoga therapy, message me. If you're interested in joining my Patreon community, the link to that is in the comments. And if you're interested in joining me and my staff for live classes that we offer every day of the week, the link to our class schedule and our Zoom classes is also in the description box. And if you have any other questions, just message me or send me an email. You can always reach me at info@rryogaroom.com. And I think that's it. Y'all have a great day. Please stay tuned and watch these short videos that I'm putting out throughout the month about yoga for bigger bodies. For next month, I'm working on a new theme, which is back pain, because I know that's also a very common issue that many people ask about. And I feel like I'm missing something, but that's probably it. That's probably it. Yes, you're welcome. You're welcome. Very good. Okay, thank you everybody for being here. Have a great day and keep practicing, and I will see you soon. Bye.